Bum 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 bum. The Peter Unsure Show. Bum 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 bum. It's December 4, 2024, and this is how I feel at the moment. What has happened is that I went on 3 dates since uh, 2 weeks ago, and I've had mixed feelings about it. And I'll talk about that uh, in this video. You got to remember what prompted this return to the dating scene. What had happened was that I ran into a number of toxic situations that may not have been so toxic, or at least I thought they might not have been so toxic if I had a life partner. I ran into job difficulties because I didn't have somebody to share the domestic responsibilities with. I ran into social problems because I had COVID-19 and didn't have somebody taking care of me. And I ran into rejection when I tried to take care of myself. I had financial difficulties because I only had one person bringing in income. I had a number of other things. Let's put it that way. A number of other things. I was teaching out of two different campuses across town, and I thought I live in Apache Junction right now. I live with roommates, and it's not the worst place in the world to live, but I thought if I had two incomes, I could live in better housing conditions. And when I put all that together, especially the time when I had COVID-19 and got had difficulty attempting to take care of myself, that was the worst one. The other ones were not so bad. Yesterday, I was getting ready for my art show on campus, and it's one of those events where you wish you had a second set of hands to deal with it, right? And that events like that were what prompted me to go back to the dating scene. And I did, and I realized that they don't exactly solve all of those things. I'll talk about that in this video. Let's start with the return to the dating scene in the first place. It is difficult to network with new people here in the Phoenix area. People get very closed off to their existing groups, and oftentimes when I go to a group that is semi-large, even if it's only five, six, 5+ people, my voice gets completely drowned out. I'm not a very alpha person. Just the other day, I was in a group of five. We were in a conversation, and it was like my voice was on mute. People talked around me. The analogy I like to give is imagine you're in a Zoom conversation with five and you accidentally have mute on and you're just talking away. That's how I felt at that group. That really was. Actually, that's a perfect analogy for what happened at that group. And that was not an unusual circumstance. Now, I know from experience if I get that first date under my belt, there's at least a 75% chance of me getting that second date. I don't suck at first dates. I suck at going from 0 to 1. And so it dawned on me also this year I've been doing okay financially. I sometimes I close my eyes and when I open it, like all of a sudden I find that I have more bismuth, I have more precious metals. My Roth IRA has exploded, and my bank account has exploded. Actually, I know why. I keep putting off replacing my car. Uh, Actually, it's not just the money that I don't want to replace my car. It's all the uncertainties of replacing it because I'll be replacing it with a used car. And actually, at the rate that I keep putting off replacing the used car, maybe eventually I'll just replace it with a new car, right? But It's all the uncertainties. I've already done a lot of work on my car. I don't want to add uncertainty to the equation. There's also the hassles of you guys have seen my car. It's a mobile storage unit, right? I don't want to have to move everything to to the to the next car. And so I've been putting off replacing the car. And so instead, my bank account has exploded. And so I've been doing really well financially, but I haven't been doing very well meeting new people. And I know from experience that I just need to land that first date. And so I offered a financial reward for anybody to set me up on that first date because I needed to even the score a little. And I went on the first date, and as I explained, it's not hard for me to go from that first date to the second date, and to a third date, and it looks like a fourth date now. That's not hard. What's hard is getting the first one. And unfortunately, did it resolve the issue? Not really. I still had to move my art by myself yesterday. F- Fingers crossed. I haven't gotten COVID-19 again, but if I did today, it wouldn't be well. At least the weather is better now compared to when I got it 4 months ago. Now, right? Hey, I still have to pay all my bills on my own. In fact, I have yet another expense now, and it's a mixed bag. And so there is one thing that it has brought me, though. I notice our society does not treat single men very well. So when I go to an event today, it looks like my date might come to my art show with me, and I'll probably get a lot better treatment. I certainly won't be on mute anymore when I try to talk to people. Uh, Leave a comment. Have you ever felt like you were on mute when you were with a group of people? Uh, it is the worst feeling in the world, bar none, right? Short of being assaulted when you're with a group of people, being on mute is like the worst feeling in the world, right? It almost feels like a it's almost like torture. Uh, Also, if you've ever muted somebody in a group of people for whatever reason, I won't be offended. Leave a comment on why you did it and how it made you feel on your end, right? Now there is a little bit of a cheat code that I discovered. So I learned that celery has a chemical compound that makes guys smell attractive to girls. I was at the end of the rope. I don't like celery, but I was at the end of my rope, and one day I decided to eat 2 pounds of celery. And I went to the student union, and before I knew it, I wasn't on mute anymore. I mean, granted, there aren't any girls there that I would even think about dating, right? These are college students, a lot of them first year. This is a community college. Some of them are only like 15 years old. And but it gave me a good feeling that it worked. And even then, even when I'm talking to a 15-year-old girl, I still enjoy the moment for what it is because when I leave that student union, I'll feel confident at least. So lately, I've been binging on celery, and I feel it's almost like a cheat code, though. I don't feel it's like the answer to the solution. It's a cheat code. It makes me feel better for the moment, and then I can do better things. And any girl that I only attract because I ate celery probably isn't going to make a good life partner, right? But at the end of the day, if it makes me feel good and it makes me able to complete my job, it makes me able to make good art, and then I could go out to attract the right girl. That's fine. That's fine. That's why I call it a cheat code, right? You still have you could just like when you're playing a video game, you might use a cheat code to see the higher levels and give yourself motivation to get there, right? That's how celery is kind of working in my life, right? Leave a comment if you feel cheat code is the right word for that, right? we gotta write a new song for there. Isn't there a song about cheat codes? We gotta write a new song about celery, the cheat code, right? But I really hate. See, the original motivation for dating was to have a second set of hands to pay the bills, keep us alive. Uh, it hasn't done that for me, at least not in the short term, right? I really despise how in the short term it doesn't do that. And in fact, in the short term, it goes backwards on that, right? It becomes even another expense. It becomes another thing you have to do. And but I do like the respect that I get every time my date is around. I certainly don't feel like I'm on mute when I've never run into a situation where the two of us have been on mute, and also just the respect, right? I can't tell you how many at work people. I get good performance reviews, but anytime there's some human needs involved, right? Like for example, one of my colleagues, unfortunately had a death in the family, and we're all supporting her at the moment. But when I run into drama in my life, like the time I had COVID-19, I continued to teach during that time. I feel like I'm being canceled anytime work isn't anytime technical work isn't involved. Anytime I try to balance my work with any sort of life events, right? COVID-19. I worked through a death in my family, and I I missed out on a lot of social activities as well. Now, granted, I don't have a kid to take care of, but I'd certainly like to meet somebody to go have those future kids with. I get completely canceled every time I try to do any of those events, right? And then people certainly don't cancel me when they need me for a last minute shift, right? And it's really infuriating. But ever since that date has come to the office, I feel like I'm not canceled anymore and I'm not being put on mute anymore. The only problem is that celery is, I like it, but it's, as you can see, I've been losing a lot of weight as of late, and I have no appetite for my favorite foods, and it's just really, I feel once again like you remember 2 months ago when I was brokenhearted about not having anybody. Now I almost feel that same kind of feeling when I don't have appetite for my favorite foods and all that. And also my clothes are all falling off. Celery apparently has negative calories, but more importantly, it just takes up so much space in your stomach that you don't even have room for foods that actually have calories. This is the Peter Mixed Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Mixed Show. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Mixed Show. Bum 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 bum